One. Happy Wednesday, and thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch for a look at your headlines. I'm Chris Bianchi, and we're going to start things off on the weather side of things. And boy, what a wild 24 hours in Colorado weather. I'll have more on that here in just a second. But taking a look at the forecast today, much calmer, generally speaking, than what we saw yesterday. Still dealing with some gusty winds in parts of the foothills, especially into northern Colorado. That'd be mainly into western Larimer, as well as into eastern parts of Gilpin and Grand counties, where we're still holding on some of those gusty winds. Here in Denver, generally on the calm side, though, highs will get up into the low 60s for your day today before our next system arrives for your day tomorrow. And that'll bring the chance for some rain and maybe some wet snowflakes tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night, perhaps heading into your Friday morning as well. High temperatures for your day tomorrow just stuck in the low to mid 50s. So a cool day on tap for your Thursday, and it'll stay cool as we head into your Friday. But by the weekend, we warm back up again, and beautiful fall weather takes back up again for the weekend with those temperatures back into the 60s and 70s under mostly sunny skies. So you got to wait a few more days, and then we will get back to our nicer fall weather that we've had over the course of the last few weeks. Now, I mentioned in the last 24 hours, talk about some wild weather here across the state. We saw as much as 8 inches worth of snow in Telluride. We had quarter-sized hail in Sterling last night. We even had a tornado warning in Holyoke, or in Phillips County. We had a high temperature in Colorado of 82 degrees yesterday in Springfield and Lamar, a low temperature of 12 degrees at Berthoud Pass, as well as in Pagosa Springs, a 79-mile-an-hour wind gust this morning in Dakota Hills. That'd be in Gilpin County. And we also dealt with last night, if you're joining us from the northern part of the metro area, you probably saw this, that thunder sleet, that thunder grapple, and that thunder snow. So Mother Nature throwing the full kitchen sink at us back last night and through early this morning. Now, all that wacky weather wreaked havoc on the roads. Northbound Interstate 25 has now reopened north of Wellington, far northern Colorado, following a closure that was in place due to snow and ice safety concerns between Wellington and the Wyoming state line. That was on Wednesday morning. The road did reopen at 7:50 a.m. Now, also westbound I-70 at the Eisenhower Tunnel, that was also closed for about an hour around 6 this morning due to a crash. That has also reopened, but it's still snowing up that way, so please be careful as you are heading out and about today, especially for our friends in the mountains. Now, snowmakers should be busy at ski areas over the course of the next few days. That fresh snow, no doubt, helping things on out in that department, but it's also amping up the race for the first ski resort to get their slopes open for the winter season. Here's Matt Renew with more on that race.
In Summit County, the fall is getting left behind and winter's rolling in.
Sounds like they're calling for 3 to 6 inches today.
It's snowing and we're so excited.
Just in time for ski areas like Loveland, A-Basin, and Keystone to ramp up their snowmaking.
We started snowmaking operations Saturday.
Feels really good to have the snow guns on.
We started making snow on Saturday.
As a winter storm dropped several inches of snow on these ski areas, icing up the ground.
It's what the snowmakers love, low humidity and Mother Nature dropping a little white stuff on the mountain.
So all three of them can make even more snow in the coming days.
We have good temperatures coming this week, and I think we're going to be in a good partnership with Mother Nature over the next few days.
As they race,
I'm really excited to have the race back on.
We're planning to open as early as possible we can here at Keystone.
To see which ski area will be the first to open in Colorado.
It's a win-win when it snows. If we can all get open, it's good for Colorado.
Opening statements are underway in the trial for the man charged with the 1984 killing of 12-year-old Jonelle Matthews, whose disappearance stumped investigators for decades. Steve Pankey is charged with first-degree murder in Matthews' death. Opening statements began at 9 a.m. this morning, and 9 News, we are live streaming them on 9 News streaming devices and on the 9 News YouTube channel and right here on the 9 News app. How about this? William Shatner, at 90 years old, became, I should say, the oldest man into space when the Star Trek hero hopped aboard a Blue Origin flight into the final frontier. Now, that flight lasted just a little over 10 minutes, and he safely parachuted down to the West Texas desert where the flight originally took off from. So how about that? for Captain Kirk. Now, DIA has always been known as kind of one of the gold standards for American airports, but lately it's been a bit of a mess. The years-long construction, parking issues, backed up security lines that we've seen in recent months, and it's making people wonder, is that enough to tarnish the brand of an airport that had been so revered for decades? Here's 9 News reporter Steve Stager with more.
For the first time ever, our airport is the third busiest airport in the world. The world. We've never been close to that.
And boy, those passengers are getting treated to something special. Construction at the airport has created a maze where the prize at the end is making your flight on time. This past weekend, they were telling people to avoid driving to the airport because they ran out of parking with 2 lots closed. And the security lines sometimes. Oofda.
And it's no doubt that we are going through a bit of a rough patch, and it's difficult right now.
Stacey Stegman speaks for DIA. She'll tell you some of the problems are just issues the rest of the world is facing right now, like a staffing shortage. But the other stuff, it's because DIA is growing.
And I know that we've seen the good old days of the airport when everything was grand and gorgeous. We didn't have the passenger traffic that we had today, so we're having to adapt.
Question is, will the growing pains impact the airport's brand?
And when they get done with it, within 20 minutes, no one's going to remember the construction.
Mike Boyd is a longtime airline industry analyst.
Consumers, including moi, we have the attention span of a rhesus monkey. We go through here now and say it was terrible. 6 months from now, when it's done, we don't remember any of it.
Boyd is a self-proclaimed critic of DIA. He told me Federico Pena doesn't send him Christmas cards for some of the things he said about the airport over the years. But he says this short-term mess will be worth it.
I would maintain it is hard to get around sometimes, trying to figure out where you are and where you're going and whatnot. But still, the fact is they're doing this because in 2 years we'll have an airport that the rest of the world will be coming to look at.
And in the meantime, DIA is asking for something that's often in short supply during air travel: patience.
And all I can say to people is this is short term. We're going to make it better. We're going to fix the problems that we're experiencing.
Lines, you can now fly to Las Vegas from, drumroll please, Loveland. Avelo Airlines announced it's going to start nonstop flights from the Northern Colorado Regional Airport that is in Loveland to Las Vegas on December the 15th. They'll fly twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays, and this, by the way, comes on top of new service from the same airline, Avelo Airlines, from Loveland to Los Angeles. That started just last week. So now 2 different destinations you can fly to directly from the Northern Colorado Regional Airport on commercial. And finally, the vaunted Blue Angels are coming to Colorado, and they will be at the Great Colorado Air Show this weekend at, you guessed it, the Northern Colorado Regional Airport in Loveland. This will mark their first appearance in Northern Colorado since 2002, and the Blue Angels of the U.S. Navy will be the headliners. That sounds pretty awesome. Again, that'll be both Saturday and Sunday, but expect some extra traffic up there on I-25 right to the south of Fort Collins. Now, that'll do it for your top headlines here on 9 News Watch on this Wednesday, October the 13th. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.